Hi everyone, welcome to the Hollylolly channel. Today I'm going to tell you about the most unexpected and shocking laws in Japan that might seem completely confusing to foreigners. Some of them are so strange that it's hard to believe they actually exist. But these are official rules, laws, and norms of behavior that really work in Japan. Let's go! But before we start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Fines for splashing pedestrians. If a driver in Japan accidentally splashes a pedestrian with water from a puddle during rain, they can be fined. The fine can reach up to 7,000 yen, which is about $50. Drivers are punished especially strictly if they splash school children in uniform or elderly people. Because of this, Japanese drivers always slow down near pedestrians when it rains to avoid punishment. Ban on homemade alcohol. In Japan, it's illegal to brew alcohol at home, even for personal use. Offenders can face up to 5 years in prison and a fine of about 500,000 yen, roughly $3,500. Even simple fermentation, like trying to make sake, is considered illegal. This law is aimed at controlling alcohol quality and tax collection, but it may seem too strict to foreigners. Restrictions on baby names. Japan has an official list of approved names, and if parents want to give their child an unusual name, the government can refuse registration. For example, in 1993, a court banned the name Akuma, which means demon. It's forbidden to use characters with negative meanings or ones that are too hard to read. This law was introduced to protect children from bullying and problems in the future. Ban on throwing away money. In Japan, it is strictly prohibited to destroy or throw away money, as it is considered a criminal offense. Breaking this law can result in a fine of up to 200,000 yen, about $1,400, or even 1 year in prison. Even if a bill is torn, Japanese people don't throw it away. They take it to the bank where it's exchanged for a new one. This law is based on the idea that money is government property, not just paper. Ban on certain medications. Many medications that are sold over the counter in other countries are banned or heavily restricted in Japan. For example, codeine and pseudoephedrine, which are commonly found in cough and allergy medicine, are considered narcotics in Japan. Bringing such medicine with you can lead to fines or even deportation. It's very important to check the list of banned substances before traveling to Japan to avoid trouble at the border. Lack of trash cans on the streets. After a terrorist attack in 1995, Japan removed almost all trash cans from the streets out of fear that explosive devices could be hidden in them. Despite this, the streets remain incredibly clean because Japanese people carry their trash with them and dispose of it at home or in special designated areas. The only places you'll find trash cans are near vending machines or in convenience stores. For tourists, this can be surprising, since in many other countries, trash cans are everywhere. Ban on dancing after midnight. Until 2015, there was a law in Japan that prohibited dancing in clubs after midnight without a special license. This law was introduced back in 1948 to fight crime and illegal activity. Although the law was revised in 2015, some restrictions still remain in certain districts. Clubs must follow strict regulations. Let me go a bit off topic here. There was a time when my sister and I decided to play badminton in the park. It was summer, and the heat during the day was unbearable. So we went out in the evening, around 8:30 p.m. We weren't making any noise or causing trouble. We were just quietly playing. But at 9 p.m., a police officer on patrol came up to us and gave us a warning because it was already evening and we weren't supposed to make any noise. Even though we weren't shouting or even talking, we were just playing, we still got a warning. After that, we apologized and left. We never played badminton there again. Ban on storing ice cream in mailboxes. This law surprised me the most. It sounds like a joke, but it actually exists. In Japan, it is strictly forbidden to put ice cream in mailboxes, as it can damage other letters and documents. If you're caught doing this, the fine can reach up to 500,000 yen, about $3,500, and in some cases, you could even face up to 5 years in prison. This law was introduced after a 2006 incident in Saitama Prefecture, where a postman put ice cream in a mailbox and was arrested. Ban on throwing out garbage before the designated time. In Japan, garbage must be disposed of strictly on specific days and times, or you may receive a fine. Every garbage bag can have the owner's address written on it, so it's easy to identify the violator. If you take out the trash too early, neighbors might scold you or even report you to the local authorities. Ban on nighttime visits. In the past, there was a tradition in Japan of making secret nighttime visits to one's romantic partner. Over time, this practice was declared illegal due to various abuses. Now, showing up at someone's place late at night without notice may be seen as a violation of personal boundaries and can cause serious problems. Parking restrictions. In Japan, you can't just buy a car. You first have to prove that you have a legal parking space. This is due to limited space in major cities and the need to prevent chaotic parking. If a driver parks illegally, they may be fined or even have their car towed. This often surprises tourists, since in many countries you can simply park on the street. Strict regulations for cyclists. Cyclists in Japan must follow strict traffic rules, or they risk being fined. For example, it's forbidden to ride while holding an umbrella, wearing headphones, or talking on the phone. Bicycles must be registered, or the police may confiscate them. These rules help prevent accidents, but they can surprise people who are used to more relaxed cycling laws. Law on underground bunkers. In Japan, private individuals are not allowed to build underground bomb shelters without special permission. This is due to strict safety regulations and seismic activity. Illegal construction can be dangerous. Building a bunker is possible, but it requires complex coordination with the authorities. In other countries, people can freely build basements and shelters, but in Japan, it is tightly regulated. Noise restrictions for vehicles. In Japan, there are laws limiting the volume of exhaust noise and music in cars. If a vehicle is too loud, the driver may be fined or required to replace the muffler. This is especially enforced at night when noise levels are regulated by specific rules. This law isn't just a formality. Police do monitor noise levels seriously. Ban on leaving household appliances and furniture on the street. In Japan, you can't just put an old refrigerator or sofa on the street. Doing so can result in a fine. To get rid of large items, you must schedule a special pickup service with the city and pay a fee. Otherwise, neighbors might complain, or you could face an investigation by the authorities. This law was introduced for cleanliness and waste recycling, but many foreigners find it inconvenient. Ban on storing large amounts of cash at home. In Japan, people rarely keep large sums of money at home, as this can raise suspicion from tax authorities. If officials discover a large amount without a clear explanation of its origin, it can lead to an investigation. This is part of the fight against money laundering and tax evasion. Of course, you won't be arrested just for having a stack of bills, but too much cash can definitely raise questions. Fine for jaywalking. In Japan, traffic laws are strictly enforced, and if you cross the road outside a crosswalk, you can be fined. Even if the street is empty, a police officer might still approach you and issue a warning. Violations are especially strictly monitored in major cities like Tokyo and Kyoto. In other countries, people often cross the street wherever it's convenient, but in Japan, it's better to follow the rules. Ban on loud conversations on trains. In Japanese public transportation, it is considered inappropriate to speak loudly or talk on the phone. In subways and trains, there are even pictograms asking passengers to silence their phones and avoid phone calls. If someone speaks loudly, they may be politely asked to be quiet. Silence on public transport is part of Japanese culture and respect for others, though it may come as a surprise to tourists. Ban on cutting in line. In Japan, public order and respect for others are highly valued. Cutting in line or trying to take a spot without waiting your turn is seen as extremely disrespectful behavior. Although there is no specific law that punishes such behavior, social pressure and disapproval can be quite strong. In some cases, if such actions lead to conflict or disturb public order, the police may intervene. Therefore, following the queue is an unwritten rule that is strictly observed in Japanese society. Ban on owning foreign radios. The use of radio communication devices in Japan is regulated by law, and only specific frequency ranges are allowed without a license. Using foreign radios without proper certification may be illegal. This is because different countries use different frequencies, and unauthorized use can interfere with official services and communications. Violating this rule may result in fines or confiscation of equipment. Therefore, before bringing or using radio devices in Japan, it is recommended to check the local regulations and obtain the necessary permissions. Ban on owning lockpicks. Possession of tools intended for lockpicking without a legal reason is simply prohibited in Japan. Having such tools without valid justification can be regarded as intent to commit a crime, even if no crime has actually occurred. Breaking this law may result in a fine or imprisonment. This law aims to prevent crimes and ensure public safety. Therefore, such tools should only be possessed with a legitimate reason. For example, if you are a certified locksmith, ban on delivering misaddressed mail to a neighbor. Japan has strict policies on privacy and protection of personal information. If you receive a letter or package not addressed to you, you are not advised to hand it directly to a neighbor or another person. Instead, it should be returned to the post office or reported to a postal worker so they can redirect the correspondence correctly. This ensures the privacy of both the sender and recipient and prevents any misunderstandings. Violating this rule can lead to fines or other legal consequences. Ban on opening other people's mail. Opening sealed letters or packages addressed to someone else without permission is prohibited in Japan. Violating this rule is considered an invasion of personal correspondence and privacy. Offenders may face up to 1 year in prison or a fine of up to 200,000 yen. This law emphasizes the importance of protecting personal information and respecting privacy in Japanese society. Ban on driving in inappropriate clothing. Japanese law does not specifically ban driving, for example, with bare thighs. However, driving in attire that may distract other drivers or be considered indecent can lead to fines or other penalties. It is recommended to dress appropriately when operating a vehicle. These laws and rules highlight the uniqueness of Japan's legal system and culture. Following these rules not only helps you avoid trouble, but also shows respect for the traditions and customs of Japanese society. Since we've been talking about Japanese laws, which sometimes seem strange to foreigners, I'd also like to briefly touch on the Japanese justice system. The Japanese justice system has a number of unique features that may seem unusual to foreigners, especially when compared to the systems of other countries, such as the United States. Let's look at detention periods and the filing of charges. In Japan, after a suspect is arrested, the police have the right to hold them in custody for up to 72 hours. During this time, they must decide whether the suspect will continue to be detained. If the prosecutor files a request and the judge approves it, the suspect may be detained for an additional 10 days. This period can be extended for another 10 days, totaling up to 23 days of detention without formal charges. Moreover, if the suspect is arrested on another suspicion, the process can repeat, and they may be held for another 23 days. For comparison, in the US, detention periods without charges are much shorter. Usually, a suspect must be brought before a judge and charged within 48 hours after arrest. Exceptions are possible in cases involving terrorism or emergencies, but overall, the time limits are much shorter than in Japan. The right to an attorney and interrogation conditions. In Japan, a suspect has the right to remain silent and consult with a lawyer without the presence of prosecutors or police. However, the lawyer is not allowed to be present during interrogations, which differs from many Western countries. This means the suspect may undergo lengthy interrogations without their attorney present, which can cause psychological pressure and lead to confessions, even if the suspect is innocent. In the US, a suspect has the right to have an attorney present during interrogations. If the suspect cannot afford to hire one, the state is required to provide legal counsel. This right is guaranteed by the US Constitution and is considered fundamental to ensuring a fair trial. In Japan, the conviction rate is extremely high, around 99%. This may be due to the long detention periods and the practice of interrogations without legal representation, which sometimes leads to confessions under pressure. In the US, the conviction rate is lower and varies depending on the state and the specific crime. The jury system and the right to a defense provide a more adversarial nature to the trial process, which can lead to more balanced outcomes. In conclusion, I would like to say that although the Japanese justice system ensures a high level of public order and safety, its methods, especially regarding detention and interrogations, may raise concerns in terms of human rights and fairness. A comparison with the American system reveals significant differences in approaches to suspects' rights and the assurance of a fair trial. Friends, thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Please like, write in the comments what surprised you the most, and see you in the next videos. Bye-bye!